Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale, and I'm hosting a tournament right now, a 2K tournament. We are in the final half an hour, and what I want to do is, I'm calling this the meta tournament. So basically, I'm not being too much of a stickler here in terms of what I'm requiring people to play, but I'm asking the people in the tournament to play cards that did receive a buff and try to incorporate them into their old deck archetypes. You can see here, some people are, some people aren't. I know it's going to be hard to enforce, but either way, we're just going to do what we always do here and have some fun. Stick around for a while. It's going to be a longer episode, and yeah, hopefully cover some strategy tips along the way, help you guys out doing what we always do. So we're going to kind of jump right into it here. What we're going to do is stay within the top 10 in this tournament here. They're all very skilled players. I announced this one about 24 hours ahead of time, so a lot of people knew about this tournament. By the way, guys, I host 1 or 2 tournaments a day on Twitter, so if you don't have Twitter, just sign up. Very easy to follow me at Clash_with_Ash, and you can get the opportunity to join my free tournaments. I do announce the times, and I do change those times monthly. That way, all my viewers and followers have an opportunity to join the tournaments. So right now, it's noon Eastern every single day, but we're going to go ahead and run a Twitter poll, and we'll see what time works best for people for September, and then we'll switch things up, and then we'll continue to switch things up through October, and so on and so forth. So these are a lot of fun, guys, and these are actually 2 great little meta decks in a way to kind of examine to start out this episode. To kick things off here, we have Andre 2500 versus Racer Axel, and basically they're both playing a giant deck, one with the Bowler, one with the Lumberjack. I really like the looks of both of these decks. I think they're both really solid decks, and again, guys, we're going to stick with the top 10 here, so you're only going to be seeing the top tournament play from this tournament. So these guys are obviously very skilled attackers. We're going to be focusing on the new meta for the most part here, in terms of we're going to be following decks with the cards that were buffed. A lot of Lumberjack action, a lot of Bowler action. We're going to try to pick our favorite decks and give you guys some suggestions along the way. You can see Andre 2500 really making this giant Bowler combination absolutely devastating. The giant and the Bowler on the King Tower is probably going to take it down. We're probably going to witness a 3-crown here, and indeed we do. So Andre 2500 playing the Bowler giant deck picks up a very nice victory there, 3-crown. And a little spoiler alert here, guys. I'm telling you right now, I think the most overpowered archetype in the game right now, and I say overpowered very carefully. You guys who've been watching my channel for a long time know that I'm not one to throw around the OP or the best deck ever phrases ever, really, but I do truly think we might be seeing an OP archetype in the game right now as we check in here on MJ. MJ here, I notice he's playing a similar sort of deck that Andre is with the giant and the Bowler, and he picks up a W there as well. Now, the thing with MJ is he's a really skilled attacker, and his cards aren't totally leveled up, so we're going to keep an eye on him for sure. But as I was saying, given the meta right now in the game, I do hypothesize that these giant decks, even with the Bowler or without, but these giant decks that were already dominating the meta at high-end tournament play and even ladder play, to be honest with you guys, pre-balance update, I think these are going to be really strong. The classic giant poison deck, when you can drop the giant in the lane, get a lot of troops behind him, really capitalize on that by following up with a Bowler, pushing all the mini troops out of the way, drop that poison spell, and it's very hard to counter, especially if you have Zap to reset the Inferno Towers. Already, after just 2 days of gameplay now, guys, we're noticing, at least I'm noticing, a lot more Inferno Tower play than we did previously, and that's probably smart because, you know what, guys? These decks are going to be everywhere, these giant Bowler decks, and they're just these giant decks in general. So again, we're watching Bowler on Bowler crime right now, and it's pretty cool here. MJ, we already know his deck here. Oh, and look at that, he's playing against Andre, so we know his deck too. So this is actually a good opportunity to compare 2 very similar decks here. I believe they both have Ice Wizard, they both have Zap, they both have Giant, they both have, do they both have Poison? Off the top of my head, not sure if Andre had Poison or not, but very similar decks either way. And you can see here, MJ, again, capitalizing on that Giant Bowler Ice Wizard combination. So you can see, if you start out with, well, you can really start out with any of the 3 because their movement speed is all very similar, the Giant, the Bowler, and the Ice Wizard. So if you start out with one of those cards behind your King Tower, you simply quickly add the other 2 cards before you get to the halfway mark on the board, and then boom, you drop the 3rd card. You can see here, for example, Giant Bowler, same walking speed. Andre's trying to get that going on the left lane, but he's running into a P.E.K.K.A here, a mini P.E.K.K.A, and I gotta be honest, comparing the 2 decks, guys, I actually kind of like MJ's a little bit better, not just saying that because he's up 1 tower, but I really love having that Inferno Tower and the guards defensively because, you know what, look at his deck here. I guess the only problem with MJ's deck is that he doesn't have a lot of air targeting defense, right? He has the guards, great defensive weapon. He has the Inferno Tower, amazing defensive weapon, and of course the Ice Wizard, one of the best defensive weapons in the game. But as far as air targeting troops, I mean, you're really relying very heavily on the Ice Wizard, the Poison, and the Inferno Tower to counter whatever the opponent throws at you. So I would like to see MJ against like a Lava Hound deck. Have you guys noticed more Lava Hound decks being played since the update? I have noticed, I don't want to say more Lava Hound decks, but I do want to say more high-ranking Lava Hound decks, if that makes sense. So I've seen Lava Hound decks, they've been doing better in tournament play. I haven't really checked the leaderboards in ladder play, but I have noticed a few Lava Hound decks in the top 10 of some of my recent tournaments, and look at that, guys. MJ pulls off the combo again, basically is stacking those 3 units together, and obviously Andre there did not have the Inferno Tower to counter with. So regardless, I think both of those decks are actually really solid. If you're having trouble with air troops with either of those decks, you might want to consider adding in a Musketeer for that point damage. There's a few spots we can add it in, but we'll talk about that throughout the video today. So let's kind of focus on this. By the way, you saw the Princess there. Have you guys played the Princess since she was nerfed? I think that Radius nerf had hit her a little bit harder than the Clash team had intended, and I'll go ahead and relay the new information regarding the Princess right now on the screen if I remember to go back and do it. But basically, they announced today that they are going to increase her attack speed, I believe. Basically, they want to make sure that she can still hit on incoming units that are very fast speed. So that's very important, obviously, to the Princess. If you can't do that, then you're really in a lot of trouble. So let's kind of focus in on this match here. It's very, very close at this point. So we're looking at 2 decks that were very popular before the balance update here. On the bottom, you can see it's basically just a standard minor cycle deck, a lot of defensive options in the deck. And on the top, you can see it's just basically, again, a very standard giant poison deck. 2 very powerful decks, given the current meta, and I think they'll definitely remain popular. The log, you can see a little bit of log play there. I'm not sure if you guys have tried out the new log yet, or the new log. I don't know. But have you tried it out yet, guys? It moves really fast, but I said this on Twitter the other day, and to be honest with you, I'm standing by that. I still think, me personally, I still prefer Zap. You can't get away from the benefit and the value of that reset. It's super valuable against, a Royal Giant, obviously. Against Sparky, it's incredibly valuable, and it comes in handy in just so many different types of decks. Even with the half-a-second stun as opposed to the 1-second stun, you can still get a lot of bang for your buck out of that Zap spell, and it still comes in handy with the Hog Rider. As you can see here, Sid is actually playing a deck. Let's see if he has a Zap spell with this Hog Cycle deck. A pretty interesting deck here being played by Sid, and again on the bottom we're watching MJ again, and it's basically going head-to-head. We have a Hog Cycle deck with the log added to it, and the Inferno Tower. I can only imagine that that last card has to be Zap, although with only 1 minute left in the contest, I'm surprised he hasn't used his Zap yet. If it is a Zap, it might be maybe Freeze? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see what that last card is by Sid there. But MJ, we know he knows what he's doing here. Look at the good job that MJ has been doing defending. You can see against 2 Inferno Towers, this match might be going into overtime. Oh, real bold call there by me going into overtime. No one's even touched each other's towers yet. This one might be a tie. We'll have to just wait and see. These guys are both really, really good defenders with defensively minded decks here. So it looks like Sid can't get his Hog Rider to even get to MJ's left tower there. And on the other side of the map, it doesn't seem like MJ can get past these Inferno Towers here that Sid keeps dropping on him. So this should be an interesting match to see where it ends here. I believe Sid is also in the top 10 right now, so this is definitely a match of the heavyweight, so to speak. So a nice log there. He was able to take down that Ice Wizard, but of course the Mini P.E.K.K.A will die here. So here comes a Hog Rider, and there it is, the Inferno Tower. So 2 Inferno Towers. Obviously, both of the defenders, and there's the other one. I was gonna say, both of the defenders doing a very good job of making sure they play their Inferno Tower, they have it up when needed, and they play it when the opponent drops either a Giant or a Hog Rider. So obviously, if you're playing the Inferno Tower, never just drop it randomly. Make sure that you see the target coming that you want to use the Inferno Tower on. I mean, that's very, very obvious, but hey, you never know out there. You see some people just playing the Inferno Tower or playing the defensive card because they have nothing else to play, and you can run into danger doing that because sometimes you can't cycle back to it in time. So MJ is getting a few hits here. The bowler's kind of distracted by that Mini P.E.K.K.A, but this looks like it might be what MJ is looking for here. He has the Mini P.E.K.K.A and the Giant on that Inferno Tower and the tower, and he has the poison spell down. I think he has it here. There it is, GG. MJ pulls off another victory. I have a sneaking suspicion that we are going to be watching a lot more MJ action in this episode here, because we are going to stay again in the top 10 this entire video. So MJ is in first place. Let's take a look at these other decks. Let's take a look at this Lumberjack deck here being played by Giovanni. So Giovanni here is playing a Bowler Lumberjack Giant deck, very similar to the deck we saw being used by Andre to start off this video. And you can see here he's playing the Princess as well. A little bit different in terms of card selection, but it should be interesting to see how he does here going against another classic Giant Poison deck being played on the top there by Rayo. So it's not looking too good so far for Giovanni here. We kind of jumped into this match in overtime, unfortunately, and it looks like this Giant is going to take down the tower. Rael pulls off the victory, unfortunately, because I am kind of pulling for the players who are being good sports and playing the balanced, the newly buffed, I should say, cards in the balance update. So guys, what do you think of the balance update? I mean, I have not done a Clash Royale video in a couple days. A lot going on in Clash of Clans right now, so I'm trying to kind of balance. I like to keep the videos at 50-50 ratio, so I try to alternate days with Clash Royale and Clash of Clans, and with all the balance stuff going on in Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, I feel like I have a ton of content to share and just not enough time to make these videos. So this one here, No Way Jose, okay, that was the lamest thing I've ever said on this channel, but we're going to see Jose facing Marcus here, last minute of the match, so this should be interesting. It looks like Marcus is well on his way to tying up this ball game here, and you can see Marcus is playing a very heavy ground deck again. It looks like here all he has is the Ice Wizard so far out of his cards that can take down this Lava Hound Balloon combo. And I told you guys just a little bit ago that we're seeing more of these air decks crop up in these big tournaments in the leaderboard. I haven't seen one win it yet, but still, it's worth noting that a lot of people are switching to these giant decks that don't have a lot of answers to these heavy air decks, and you can really capitalize on that by playing an air deck like Jose just won with, and that was pretty convincing there. You can see the minions and the balloons and the Lava Hound and the pups. It's just really tough for that poor guy, for poor Marcus, representing Elite Gaming, by the way. What up, Marcus? It's tough for Marcus to counter a deck like that. He really met his match there in terms of the one deck countering the others. So let's move right along here, guys. Keeping the action going, staying with MJ here. He's in first place right now. We know his deck by now, and this time he's going up against a Hog Cycle deck, a very, very basic Hog Cycle deck. You can see here the Elixir Pump and a lot of cheap cards. He has both the Skeleton and the Ice Spirit, the two 1 Elixir cards in the game. I'm really interested, by the way, to see what they add, the Royale team, for the third 1 Elixir cost card in the game. I'm not saying it's coming this update, but certainly there is going to be another 1 Elixir cost card added to the game. I'm wondering what you guys think a perfect role that's kind of missing from the game right now would be to add to a 1 Elixir card. I mean, it's tough to find a good role that's not overpowered for only 1 Elixir cost. So we caught this match at the very end of the match. You can see that MJ again pulling off the victory there, basically doing the same thing, guys. He's playing that level 3 bowler who's not even up to tournament standards behind the Giant, trying to get the Ice Wizard on there. You can see MJ really comes on strong during the last minute of the match when he's in that double elixir period, and that's obviously when you want to capitalize on those really big big pushes. That's when you want to make sure you start getting your bowler behind that king tower and then adding the giant, the ice wizard, and whatever else you have to combo off it. So look who we're watching now, guys. It's Oleg, and you may or may not know that Oleg is sort of a local celebrity here around the Clash with Ash channel. He is the only player to win my daily tournament 3 days in a row, and that is something to be very proud of because these tournaments have stiff competition, as you guys tell me every single day on Twitter. Every day, without a doubt, I get a comment saying, Jesus, Ash, your tournaments are serious, man. They are really, really more difficult than your average tournament. That's because the word kind of spread, and we've kind of developed a little community in these daily Twitter tournaments. The same guys playing every single day, and these guys play the same decks every single day, like Oleg. Oleg always plays the same exact deck, hasn't changed a card since we've known him here on the channel. So you can see the Fireball and the Inferno Tower will be the next two cards he plays. 100% put the house on it because, yeah, that's what he plays. So guys, speaking of houses, by the way, I usually don't do this on the channel, usually don't share personal stuff that often. I've never done it in Clash Royale for whatever reason, but not intentional, nothing against you Royale players. But guys, big news in the life of Ash is I just put an offer in on my very first house. So I might be a homeowner. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit more excited than I thought I'd be about it. Not that a house is something to scoff at and not be excited about, but you know what? I'm kind of a really easygoing guy in real life. I don't get super amped up for big decisions. I like to kind of think them through and take it slow, but I don't know, guys. I am really psyched about this house idea. So don't know why I'm sharing that, didn't intend to, but hey, it's what's going on in my life, and yeah, I hope I get it. We'll have to see. But anyway, back to this match. We have Oleg here playing the deck that he's known for. And guys, this match, more than any match of this tournament, well, I can't say that, who knows, right? But this match especially, you're going to want to watch how Oleg plays. He's one of the best Hog Cycle players that I've ever seen in the game, and I'm not just blowing smoke up his you-know-what, guys, but I'll tell you what, man, the thing about Oleg is he has, besides that Fireball, of course I say that, and he has his only misplay of the game, but guys, I'll tell you what about Oleg, man. He is one of the best minor Hog players out there, and if you want to learn some tips, you might actually want to go ahead and rewatch this match. I'm serious, especially if you want to learn how to shut down a Sparky deck, because he did so very convincingly. Ran into a little bit of trouble towards the very end there with that misplayed Fireball, but otherwise, a really good example of how to counter a Sparky deck there by Oleg, and he is now in the, I think he should be in the top 10 as well, but it looks like MJ still in first place here, guys, with only 9 minutes left. So let's check out some of these decks. Let's try to find one that's a little bit interesting and kind of tune in, and then we'll see if, I don't think MJ might not even have to play from here on out, guys, so we'll have to see. I don't know. Let's just find a deck that we think is a little bit different, a little bit interesting. I like covering these decks without the legendary cards because you guys love that as well. So let's kind of check out everybody's decks here, see what they're playing in the top 10. So we have like a giant bowler deck here. We have I just want to pick the same people over and over again. We have a classic giant deck there. That's not interesting. We have or maybe it is, Sid's deck. We already know that. It's a Hog Rider log deck. So a bowler non-legendary deck there. And we have just a regular minor cycle deck. So I'm thinking maybe, oh, look at this, guys. This is an interesting deck here. Top 10 too with the Rocket Golem Witch deck. This should be really interesting. And look at that. A Rocket right off the bat try to save his tower, and of course we jinxed him there. We hopped in and he loses. So Toodalicious, I kind of want to watch Toodalicious' next match just to see how he's been playing this deck. So obviously he lost there, but it's definitely worth taking a look at this deck, I think, guys. I love seeing these different decks, and you guys know the Royale team, they keep buffing the Golem every single balance update, and people still keep preferring the Giant. So let's look at this Golem deck here. It looks like he's in another match. Let's kind of hop in, see if, oh, he's playing against Giovanni. So I think Giovanni is playing if I'm not mistaken, he's playing a Bowler Lumberjack Giant deck. So let's see how Toodalicious handles his Bowler Lumberjack deck with his Golem Witch deck. Definitely a clash of the metas here, no doubt about it. So Giovanni here gets the Lumberjack out first. That's what you want, obviously. People trying to relearn how to play the Lumberjack, and I'm one of those people, you know, because I didn't use it too often before the big buff, but now it appears, at least according to my YouTube subscriptions, it appears the Lumberjack is the most OP card of all time in the history of Clash Royale. At least that's what people say. But I don't know. You guys be the judge. I'm not sure yet. I have not played the Lumberjack enough. All I know that his attack rate, his swing rate, seems absolutely ridiculous. It's still a little bit tricky to use the Lumberjack unless you played him for a while, because if there is a little bit of an art to making sure that you get him in there the right time so he can die first and drop his rage spell to take advantage of. So I'm going to start playing him way more often so I can try to get a better handle for the best way to use him, because like, look at what we just saw here by Giovanni. He sent him in after the fact against this tower, and I think it's going to be a totally wasted Lumberjack. So that's what you kind of want to watch out for, like little moves like that. So let's see what Toodalicious does here. Toodalicious, what a funny name. So Toodalicious is going to get some heavy damage here with the Witch Skeleton combo. Look at that. And it is well played, as Giovanni says there. Getting the Witch by herself onto a tower, man, that can totally crush your opponent. Kind of like the Musketeer by herself on a tower. It's deceiving because you think of those units as somewhat squishy, but I'll tell you what, they both have a very, very fast rate of fire, and they can take well over half the hit points off your tower. So be very careful next time you see a solo Witch or a solo Musketeer on your tower. They can do a lot of damage, and it'll be interesting to see if the Witch might get a little bit more love now, as we're seeing so many of these giant decks. The Witch is really good a counter to a giant. Why? Because A, obviously the skeletons do a significant amount of damage to the giant, and B, whatever the opponent plays behind the giant, it could be minions, it could be goblins, no matter what it is, if it's squishy, obviously the Witch has the AoE attack, so you don't have to worry about, you know, dealing with, if you put a Musketeer, for example, against a giant, you have to worry about dealing with those swarms of units behind the giant, and then they go right on your tower. Obviously, the splash damage by the Witch can mitigate that. So we're going to go into overtime again. It feels like almost all these matches have gone into overtime so far, and again, we're going to see the Witch on defense here for Toodalicious, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's only going to take a few hits here by this giant. Is he going to get him in? No. Okay. So I thought Toodalicious might be going down for the count there. Here comes a rocket, and oh, Toodalicious pulls off the victory there. It's funny, I'm watching the match, I'm watching all his cards, totally forgot that he could have used the rocket there to pull off that victory. So very nice win there with that Golem Witch deck. If you guys are looking for a deck that's a little bit outside the box there, give that one a whirl. See what you think of it. Let me know in the comments if you use it, how it does for you. So let's kind of hop back into where we started this episode and really kind of end strong, covering these Bowler decks that I really love. I love these Bowler Giant decks. I mean, I've been trying to experiment with them as well in ladder play, and I'll be honest with you guys, having mixed results, still trying to get the hang of them. I'm more of a speed deck guy, so all in all, I'm not much of a Giant player as is. I have been requesting, though, Giants exclusively as my card request in my clan, and I've been doing that for like 2 months now, or 3 months. It's been a while since I've been on all Giants, and I'm trying to get them to level 10, so still a ways to go for me, but really can't wait till I get my Giants to 10, and look at this big push here in the right lane. This might be enough for the 3 crown here. Look at this. It's a mini P.E.K.K.A. It's 2 Giants. We have the Ice Wizard, Ice Spirit, Bowler, you name it. It's on the King Tower, and don't call it a comeback. And here it is. Wait for it. Wait for it. There it is. Wow. That was a really strong finish, and look at the hit points on his tower. Papariki almost lost it there. Probably butchering that name. I apologize. I am very, very well known in all parts of the Clash Royale and Clash of Clans universe for absolutely butchering players' names, so please, I apologize, guys, in advance times a million. So let's see a nice deck to cover here as we kind of let time tick off here, the clock, before the conclusion of this tournament. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm not sure if MJ is safe here. If one of the guys below him, who are both in a match, if they win, he could be really in jeopardy of losing that first place spot. So let's see how this one ends. It might come down to the wire, so we'll have to wait and see. This match here, we have a minor deck versus a trifecta deck. So Whose deck do you guys prefer here? I think if I had to choose between the two decks, if I had to choose, I would go with the Miner deck, although I like watching good Trifecta players like Wiso here, or Wiso, more. So I'm kind of torn between who I want to win this one here. I actually didn't notice where both of the players were in the overall standings, so I'm not sure how this match will impact the overall standings, so that might play into who I'm rooting for, but we'll just have to wait and see. Why does it even matter who I'm rooting for? But hey, look at this. Wiso has a Lumberjack, so we're going to root for him, I think. That's definitely the guy to root for because he's doing the right thing here in this meta tournament and playing a card that was buffed. So that's what we want to see have happen here. But look at this. Nawar is coming on strong here. The Valkyrie, even the Valkyrie is not going to be able to take down the Ice Wizard, the Mini P.E.K.K.A, and the Musketeer, and it looks like that tower's just about to go down. It does. I don't know, man. That was a really tough push there with the Ice Wizard, Musketeer, and Mini P.E.K.K.A. There's not much you can do against that, especially when you already have a Miner beating away at your tower. But here he comes back at him here with the Hog Rider on Rage. But unfortunately, look at all that defense. Again, that same, not the Trifecta, but that same Trifecta of troops, that same trio of troops, the Mini P.E.K.K.A, the Ice Wizard, and the Musketeer, stopping that push there by Wiso, and looks to be coming on strong again offensively. Another pretty big push here, but luckily he's able to shut it down with that Musketeer and a Zap spell. So looks like Wiso here won't be jeopardizing the 3 crown loss, but unfortunately not going to be able to pull off this W unless that Lumberjack pulls off a miracle, which he does not. So it looks like, let's take a look at the updated standings here and see what's going on at the top of the leaderboard. So Nawar pulls off the 1-0 victory there, and look at this. MJ is at the top still obviously playing the same deck here, but I don't know, guys. Is he going to be able to lock up first place? It is going to come down to it here. There's only 28 seconds left. If Wasam can get into a match right now, he might be able to overtake MJ for first place. So let's see, guys. 20 seconds, 15 seconds. Oh, he's getting into a match. Oh, no. MJ needs to get into a match. He only has 10 seconds. I doubt he can, but who knows? He might be searching right now, so we'll see how this plays out. It's Jose versus Wasam. We've watched both of these guys previously in the tournament, and this should be good here. I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and root for Jose because I kind of want MJ to win since he's playing the Bowler deck, and I think that Wasam, if I remember correctly, is playing is it a Miner deck, or is he playing just a Giant deck? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. We'll have to see. I can only see 3 of his cards, and I seem to have forgotten what he was playing. So either way, this might be for all the marbles. It probably is for all the marbles for Wasam, so we'll see what he does here. It is the Giant deck, so just a very, very standard Giant Poison deck. Mini P.E.K.K.A, he has the Pump, he has the Musketeer, so it's just a very well-balanced deck here. If you're looking for to start out with a Giant deck, maybe you haven't played a lot of Giant like me, maybe you're just a speed cycle player like I am, and you want to get into a good quote-unquote starter deck for Giants, try out this deck here that Wasam's using. It's pretty well balanced. It's very, very good defensively, so you can be patient with a deck like this. You can let the match come to you a little bit, see what your opponent has, and then see what happens. Now look at this here. He's on the King Tower, and I think he might pull off the 3 crown. Oh my God. That was so quick. I was blabbing about having a good starter Giant deck, and boom, he wins the match. 3 crowned Jose. Poor Jose. Oh, look at this. MJ is in a match, guys. MJ's in a match, so this could be for all the marbles here. MJ playing Expert Thief, and I think if MJ wins here, he's going to win because Expert Thief is also in the top 5. So here it is, guys. This is it. It's a classic Giant deck versus a Bowler Giant deck, and that looks to be the matchup here. So let's see what happens. So MJ is able to get his Giant to that tower, only gets 1 or 2 hits off, but look at this push coming his way right now. MJ's going to have to defend in this right lane and be careful because you can see that I think he is gearing up, Expert Thief, to get a giant. There it is, a giant in the opposite lane, but there's that Inferno Tower that's been really a lifesaver throughout this entire tournament here for MJ, really using that Inferno Tower wisely defensively. But yet again, the giant might get to this tower here. Well, good mini P.E.K.K.A play there, so it looks like not one hit on that tower, and it's kind of tied up right now. I can't believe that MJ got into a match with only a few seconds left, and it looks like this might go to overtime here, but the Inferno Tower doesn't. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say I don't think he has the Inferno Tower up right now, but this is gonna be tough. There's that zap spell. He has the mini P.E.K.K.A, a good guard play there by MJ, and now all these. Oh, come on, MJ. Come on, man. Expert Thief is really good here. He's just continually just dropping the same combo of troops here in the left lane over and over and over again. Really relentless here with a giant guard combo, and then wait, mini P.E.K.K.A, right? So giant guard, wait, there it is. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Called it. Not hard to call, though, because he's done that repeatedly time and time again, and then comes the poison sometimes, and every time he's able to deduct another 100 or 200 hit points off that left tower. Now here comes MJ in the right lane, really trying to mount a big push of his own in the right lane, but again, he has to play defense here on the left. This is going to be really tricky to defend against right now, guys. He drops the mini P.E.K.K.A, but that giant is going to get to that tower. Oh no, MJ! No! MJ has the lead, and of course my battery's dying. MJ has the lead the entire tournament and then loses at the last second to Expert Thief. Wow, didn't see that coming. I thought MJ had first place locked up. Instead, he settles for third. But guys, what a nice match there. And it was fun to see these new cards and these new decks shine in this tournament. At least having the buffs play a role in the current meta is nice to see. I mean, things were getting a little bit stale, a little bit old. So we'll see if these bowlers really pick up. And here's the decks, guys. I'll go ahead and just show you the top 10 decks if you want to copy any of them and use them on your own if any of them caught your eye. By all means, go ahead and do so. You can see a Lava Hound deck did finish in our top 10, so that's cool to see as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this a little bit longer of an episode. I had a really lot of fun doing this tournament. Thanks to everybody who played, and congratulations to the winner, Wasam. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.